Welcome everybody to episode 26 of the Canuckleheads podcast. Shout out to Sammy Paulson, Mikhail Samuelson,
finding 26s
Emerson Edom, I think.
Yeah.
My name's Justin. I'm joined by my co-host Mr. Wes, and we're going to go over some Canucks games here. Only two games where we played the St. Louis Blues, two different nights here. So the first one, Vancouver in St. Louis, March 28th, 2022. Yaroslav Halak gets the start, and Husso for the Blues. So the reason Boudreau said he didn't want the Blues to see the same goalie twice, and I don't really agree with that.
Yeah.
I didn't agree with it at the time when he said that in the morning skate, but I really didn't agree with it after the results of this game.
Yeah.
To me, they were in a situation where you just need points.
Yeah.
Demko's your best option.
Yeah.
There was a long break in between games. I think he could have played both these games.
Yeah, and because of the break, I felt like he should have played.
Yeah.
But there has been rumblings, like Demko's never played this much in a season.
Yeah.
And people do seem to think that it is taking a toll on him a little bit, which rightfully so. He's never played this amount of games and this intensely in the net for an extended period of time. So I think maybe they're just trying to give him a little time, which, like you said, though, there was a bit of a break there. So I would have liked to see him in net, but it is what it is.
Halak, his last start in Colorado, earned another start. I just don't feel like these were the...
He's not the number one
Give
goalie.
him Arizona or something like that, you know? So in this one, it was 2-0 St. Louis after one. 2-0 St. Louis after two. The Miller line, though, had just a great period, and I felt like they were dominant every time they were on the ice in the second here. Miller, Garland, and Pearson.
Yeah.
Very, that line's an interesting combination. I wouldn't have had that one picked at the start of the year.
Neither would I.
Those three guys playing together. But it works for whatever reason.
Yeah, it does. And it seems like Pearson steps his game up a little bit when he's on that line. For some reason, you just notice him more, which is a good thing.
I think because Miller is mostly a straight line player, which suits him. Like, that's why him and Pearson and Bo work together too, right?
Yeah.
It's just to the net.
Yeah.
That's how both those guys play. Back to your net to defend.
Mm-hmm.
And then Garland is just kind of a wild card on there because he'll do whatever. Like
he'll throw pucks at the net and dig in the corner and
spin ramas all over the joints. Yeah. Then in the third, we had a goal from Brad Hunt on a 3-on-1. They just sniped it top corner, glove side. And then towards the end of the period, they pulled the goalie fairly early. I think there was 3.5 minutes left.
Yep.
And then JT Miller with just a really bad play. He was in basically by himself and just threw the puck to the middle of the ice where there was only 3 St. Louis Blues around. So they got the puck, went down and scored an empty netter.
Yeah.
Just one of those things, right? Like, if Miller can clean up plays like that, that's what keeps him out of the elite level players.
Yep.
I know you're pushing for 2 goals, but you still had some time there. Just eat a hit, keep the puck on the boards or something. Let your teammates get set up too instead of...
Don't throw it out in the open.
Yeah, trying to force a pass across the ice to nobody.
Yeah, and it's funny too because I feel like they did pull the goalie a little bit too early. I don't know why we do that. Sometimes it feels like when we pull him at even 2 minutes, it's just we're gonna get scored on.
Yeah, it's like overtime, right? When we pull the goalie, that they just play different. They can't get set up. They can't make a clean pass. They're resetting constantly and running back, chasing pucks, and just not good with the empty net or in overtime.
And when Brad Hunt scores the only goal, that's concerning.
Yeah.
And Brad Hunt hasn't been terrible offensively as a defenseman, and give him props. He's been pretty good. It's just when no one else can get their game going, it's a little concerning. It's man, we have some firepower on this team. I would have liked to have seen a couple more at least close chances because there wasn't many in this game for us. Like
when you have names like Miller, Horvat, Pedersen, Brock, Quinn
what?
Hughes,
and Brad Hunt scores.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's uh-oh.
So this one was 4-1 St. Louis. Mm-hmm. The next game we'll go over is St. Louis in Vancouver, March 30th, I have 2023 written down, but 2022. The Canucks were wearing their First Nations jerseys in warm-up for this one, designed by Chase Gray. And these were cool, I like these a lot.
Yeah.
Again, something that the Canucks have been doing all year where they have artists, local artists, design jerseys. And it's very cool. It makes it more personal and more meaningful instead of just this is another practice jersey that the team's pumping out.
Yeah.
Didn't see the price on these ones for what they were going for though. But hopefully it
better
wasn't
not
$600.
be. Yeah.
This was Demko and Husso starting. So the Blues hiding Jordan Binnington from us, which I was hoping to get Binnington.
There's a couple guys on our team who have Binner right in their back pocket, so that's why they didn't play him.
Yeah. So this was 0-0 after the first. In the first period, I thought Garland, Podkolzin, and Will Lockwood had a really good period. Like, let's discuss Will Lockwood right now too, because we've seen a couple games. I really liked his game.
He was getting hit, giving hits, like he was just everywhere. You notice him when he's out there.
His speed is noticeable too. Like he has like the potential to be kind of a carbon copy of Tyler Mott. Like,
give him a couple years, and he
still
will be
a
savage.
But I've really liked his game so far.
I think he's more physical than Tyler Mott, and I don't know if his goal scoring will be as good.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a very physical player, and we need bodies like him out there.
Also, if you're on the fourth line, right, I'm not expecting.
Yeah.
Like Tyler Mott scoring 9 goals is a huge like. And I don't want to say reach, but like just a bonus when you're fourth line.
It's a cherry on top. Yeah.
So yeah,
I love the kid.
Yeah, really like Will Lockwood.
I hope he's a mainstay next year. We don't have a ton of guys that throw the body like he does.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of the game. Wear the other team out by making big hits, make them scared to touch the puck. Will Lockwood does a good job of that.
Well, and after the 2 St. Louis games too, right? A lot of people were talking that we don't have the size to hang with the Blues or the speed to hang with them.
That's not true. The speed I can kind of see.
I don't think we're a fast team.
No.
I think maybe we're a slightly below average team for speed.
You throw Schenner, Lockwood, even Millsy throws the body pretty good. If we got Mizey in there, even Ekman Larson sometimes throws the body. We have guys that do throw hits.
But, not a big game changer, right? No. I can't remember the forward for the Blues, but the guy's 6'7".
Yeah.
Right? He'll throw a decimating, game-changing hit.
Yeah, there's a couple physical guys that they have.
Yeah, and Lockwood kind of checks 2 of those boxes because he's fast and physical, right? Yeah. Still a kid, still growing, so let him fill out a little bit.
And Braden Shen, he's always getting 10 hits a game, so he's always up there too.
Yeah, so he's definitely an interesting player too, right? Because he's on a cheap contract, which is what you need for the fourth line. So looking forward to just seeing Lockwood keep playing and develop.
100%.
Hopefully he gets
him and Rathbone, man. Bring him and Rathbone in. I want to see it.
I'd like to see Rathbone soon too.
Yeah.
So the weird one is at the start of the second, Bo Horvat to a non-COVID related illness. So that kind of threw a wrench in everything, right? That's your first or second or third line center, however you want to shuffle the lines, but and your captain and your maybe your best or second best face-off taker. I keep wanting to say face-off man.
Yeah.
Your best center.
Yeah. And that's the thing, Millsy, he's kind of creeping into that number 1 spot on the team. Him and Bo are neck and neck. It's just some nights JT Miller is dominant.
Yeah, it kind of depends on how you want to match him up, really.
Yeah, exactly.
So we had a goal from Chason in this one on a great pass from Brad Richardson. Behind the net, right out to Chason, who just beat Husso.
Another guy I wouldn't mind talking about quickly is frickin' Brad Richardson. Yeah. Everyone's saying he's an old guy. He's impressed me thus far. Yeah. He has good hockey sense. He knows where to be on the ice. He makes smart plays. I've seen him whipping some passes around that were making some dangerous chances. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's a good veteran guy, and he doesn't have the wheels. That's the only major issue, right? Yeah. But that's going to happen when you're 37
as long as his positioning stays sharp and he's making plays. Exactly. That's all we need.
The pass from behind the net was really nice, and also a good move from Chason to kind of spin off his defender and get loose in front of the net.
Yeah.
That's Chason's office, basically. That's where he scores his power play goals.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then we had a goal from Petey, who picks off a deflected pass and just
what a snipe.
Yeah. Oh. Again, his goal against the Stars, through Pavelski's legs, and then this one, he's shooting the puck.
Those alien snipes.
Yeah. I want this Petey for 82 games next year.
Oh, and that's what we're going to get. I think this was a huge learning curve, and you've seen Besser go through it. I know there was an injury there. Petey with the wrist, with the injury this year. He had some adversity at the start of the season, and I think that only makes these guys grow and come into the season ready to go for next year.
Yeah, I think missing training camp was definitely very bad for the start of his year, right? Missed a lot of hockey, too. Was injured at the start of, halfway through last year.
Yeah.
So, you can see like the rust is off and he's playing like how he normally plays.
Yeah, it's one thing to be training with Huggy and his dad out there, and I know they did great work, but it's like it doesn't compare to being with the team and getting the chemistry and making the plays on the goalies and getting your confidence up. There's a lot that goes into
being in the preseason games, even like
exactly.
It's funny how preseason works. Like, but the first game, I'm like, I can't wait.
Me
and
too.
Then by the time you have like 3 games off, you're like, let's just start the regular season.
Exactly. It's like fuck this.
Yeah. This was 3-2 after 2, and then in the third we had another goal from Petey, who tipped in a Garland shot. Yeah. I was kind of hoping Garland would have got this one just to kind of get him off that schneid and like, get everybody off his back and stop talking about him.
And you see, like, there is a little bit of he's not playing his best hockey right now, that's for sure, but he's always creating chances, being dangerous. It's just like you heard Boudreaux chirp him for the turnover,
which was a bad turnover.
It was a bad turnover, and it's like he's hard on himself, so it would have been nice to see him get that goal, like Justin said.
Yeah, and because he hasn't outside of that period in St. Louis, which was weird too. Jeff Patterson from the Rink-Wide podcast said that Garland was probably their best and worst player in that period. Yeah. Like his first 10 minutes were great, then he had the bad turnover and was benched. So
yeah,
but outside of that, he is an offensive driver. Like don't ever feel like he's pinned in his own zone. He's always in the offensive zone. Like,
which if he put up as many points as Millsy, he wouldn't have got benched there. Yeah. It's just like Millsy makes those types of turnovers. And it's like, oh well, because JT Miller, he'll still score the game winner at the end of the game. But it's like Garland, he gets punished a little bit more hard.
When you haven't scored a goal in 15 games,
exactly.
If you turn over the puck like that, you're getting benched.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 4-3 loss here for this one against the St. Louis Blues. So, very tough week for the Canucks.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like this was it.
Yeah.
Like you had to win those
final
2 games.
Nail in the coffin. And it was like 2 important games, but coming into like a break game, another break game, break. It's like it's tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you could have squeezed out some points from these 2, won them, we're still like pretty optimistic.
Yeah.
Now it's like they got to go 11-2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like
it's not happening.
13-0. So it's like. The P word it was always like a reach, and now it feels like it's it.
And now we can just say playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm not even worried about it now. It's like it is what it is. I was hoping maybe we'd go on like another 7-game stretch. Like I think we went on an 8-gamer at one point. So like I was kind of hoping we could string together another little, and then it would have been exciting. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of excited for the off season, see what changes, the new GM and president and all the office, what they can do to the team, and maybe we come into next season guns blazing,
looking better. With another offensive defenseman or 2, puck moving defenseman.
Short.
You know what? We should also talk about Travis Dermott too.
Yeah, Dermott. I like Dermott.
Me too.
And I'm glad that we acquired him. And apparently Travis Hamonic, no one was
fit in.
Yeah, no one was a big fan of him, so it is what it is, and I can see why. But happy to have a nice young defenseman that's a bigger guy, can throw the body, he'll take a scrap every now and again, and makes nice outlet passes.
Good skater too. Right?
Yeah,
like he's
that's supposed to be the best part of his game.
Yeah, not really. I don't want to say a poor man's Quinn Hughes because that's still a very high watermark.
Yeah,
he's probably their second best skater and puck mover now.
Yeah, I believe so, and I think playing it with Huntsy, like it is what it is because you got Tyler Myers and Ekman Larson and Quinn Hughes and Luke Shen above him. But give this kid a couple years, he might be a top 4 defenseman on this team.
Yeah, I'm again a lot like Will Lockwood. I'm just looking forward to watching him play and
optimistic.
See how far his game goes this year.
100%.
Okay, so that'll do it for games this week. We only had the 2. And like we were talking about how the playoffs are kind of dead. Like we have these 3 games against Vegas coming up, but Vegas is 7 points up on us. So even if we sweep them, they're still a point ahead of us.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter at this point. We're just looking to enjoy these games, and we get to go to the Edmonton game at the end of the season, and it's a back-to-backer. So it's gonna be a tough one for us.
I'm kind of hoping we just don't get blown out.
Yeah, now, I hope we can stomp Edmonton's face in, but it is what it is.
Yeah, because probably nothing really left to play for at that point. I don't even know like if McDavid or Draisaitl will play, which is kind of disappointing. But
but who knows? Like I don't know if they've solidified a playoff spot yet, but they're
by that point, right?
Yeah,
like, that's the last game of the year, so
yeah,
everything's probably
potentially
pretty locked up by then.
Yeah, and they don't want him to get injured on the frickin' post by Giordano at the end of the season.
So we'll go over some news here too. Canucks prospect Aiden McDonough, who was a 7th round pick, I believe, chose to go back to Northwestern College next season instead of turning pro and signing with the Canucks. Wants a shot at winning a championship there and feels like he can still develop and grow his game there.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. A lot of people are kind of freaking out, right? Because you always hear the college guys wait that extra year so they're free agents and they can sign wherever they want.
Yeah.
If that happens, like, he was a 7th round pick, right?
I'm not sure. We have enough young players. I'm not freaking out about it at all. We've got freaking Niels Höglander, Lockwood, Rathbone. Like, we have a ton of young guys. We need to start developing the talent we have right now. If he wants to go win a championship, come back in a year. If you don't come back, bye-bye.
Yeah, and like it sounds like he wants to sign with the Canucks too, so it's not... I'm not concerned.
It's not
about
like he's taken
him.
off.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about losing him for nothing. And yeah, let him go play in college if he feels like he can still grow his game there. He's a major contributor on that team too, so it's not like he's a 4th line guy playing 8 minutes a night. So let him go dominate, and if he wants to just like further his education too, like, nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens with him next year. Some more news here. March 30th, Jason Dickinson rejoined the team for practice. Boudreau also said Hoggs is out long term, potentially for the rest of the year. So
that disgusts me.
Yeah, I don't really know what.
They're not disclosing anything.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on Höglander. Same thing with Dickinson, right? We all know it was his leg, but nobody knows
won't
what
say
it was.
Yeah, which is kind of concerning, but whatever. If they want to keep it under wraps, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is one guy I think we're short one Jason Dickinson next season. I don't think we see him come back. I don't think there's any point for him to come back.
See, I just don't know how you get rid of him.
Like, that's the thing. Once you seal him up, sometimes it's hard to give him away.
He probably doesn't have much trade value, if
zero.
Any, right? Like,
if anything, his trade value went since he's been on the Canucks. But look at Nate Schmidt. He was another guy that kind of killed his value before we got rid of him. But people see more potential in him, and I get that.
Schmidt had more of a name built up before too. So.
And I get that. But it's like, I think there's some teams that would be willing to take a gamble on him. Yeah,
maybe. Like, after Hamonic gets traded for a 3rd, I'm not saying that there's no way Dickinson gets moved. It's just, you got to find the right team to do it. So.
Yeah, exactly.
And then also March 31st, Brady Keeper joins the Canucks in practice for the first time since breaking his leg at training camp. I remember us talking about this in like the 1st or 2nd
long time ago.
So it's a long journey back for Brady Keeper. So hopefully he's doing good and just continues to make positive strides.
Yeah, when you break your leg, that's no joke.
Yeah, like that seems like forever ago that we did whatever episode it was we talked about him, because it was very early. Yeah. So yeah, good to see that. Hopefully he keeps practicing hard and no setbacks there. Also, today, April 2nd, 2022, the Canucks signed NCAA winger Mark Gattacombe to an AHL contract. He's on a PTO for the rest of this season, and then his contract kicks in for next year. So he'll be with the Abbotsford Canucks. Yep. He played at the University of Connecticut and had 21 points in 36 games this year and was also an alternate captain. I threw that in there because I figured you'd like to know that.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I have zero familiarity with this guy at all.
Neither do I.
We'll see what happens in Abbotsford. Hopefully he's a good player there, and the Canucks can make something out of these free agents that they sign out of college.
Yep.
I know that's a big emphasis, right? Like bringing in younger players, and just one of the ways you can do it. And you can
alternate captain. That means one of the leaders on the team. Let's go. Yeah. We need guys like that coming through the pipeline.
So yeah, and like I know when you say we have enough young guys on the team, I know you're talking about the Canuck, like the NHL Canucks, but we still need to like the prospect
grow prospects down low, 100%.
We need to add to the prospect pool a lot.
And I kept a mental note. I forgot to say Podkolzin when I mentioned those other names. Yeah. Another rookie that we're developing. Can't wait to see what he can do next season. I think he has a monster season.
Yeah, and I also, we should talk about Pods too, because I've really liked his last couple games. Yep, he's noticeable all the time.
And you know Boudreau has a hard-on for him. Pardon my French. That's probably the wrong lingo to use for that one because it's two men. But definitely Boudreaux likes his Russians, and he wants Podkolzin to develop that shot and become a sniper in the league.
And when they did get some injuries, Pods was the one that got bumped up a line too. So and really, like, you're not gonna move Lockwood up yet, just because let him play.
Yeah,
he's the logical guy, but still, it's nice to see him getting promoted.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, looking just at the Canucks prospects, like, Jake Rathbone is number one, but he's potentially could be in the NHL next year, right?
I hope he is.
After that, like, what is it, like, Klimovich, who's a rookie in the AHL this year? Like, it's pretty bare. Like,
there's nothing. You need to keep some talent down low at the same time.
Yeah, and like, when your prospect pool looks like the Canucks, it's usually because you're going for a Stanley Cup and you've been selling assets to build your main roster.
Yeah.
And right now, we're gonna miss the playoffs and have no prospects.
And this is the thing about the Jim Benning era too. I feel like he gave away way too many picks in some of the deals he did, and I feel like it's gonna take Rutherford and the crew a little while to retain some of those picks for some assets and really start to build this team from the ground up the way it should have been done.
Yeah, and like, it sucks to talk about it now because you want to talk about playoffs, but I'm kind of switching my attention to the draft now.
100%.
Playoffs are not an option, so the Canucks will pick somewhere in, like, well, I guess it's the lottery draft, so you never know, but they should have, like, a fairly in the 14 range somewhere, if I had to guess. So you're gonna get a decent player there, and you got to mine that second, third, fourth round to get some gems and start to develop things. And now that we are kind of out of the playoffs, like Wes said earlier, it's all about what management does. Like, who's out, who's in, like the prospects they sign, the college guys, and things like that. So
before the trade deadline, we didn't see too many moves made. I'm glad with what we did acquire and what we did get rid of, but I think we see some bigger moves in the offseason.
Yeah, another thing I want to talk to you about too, like always, is Brock. Like,
it's a tough one.
Man, I love Brock Besser, and I want him to do so good, but he's 25, and it kind of seems like he is what he is. Like, I feel like we've had two really good Brock Besser seasons, and then an average one, and the rest have been disappointing. Yeah. So
and that's the thing. It's coming off of a game changer injury, so it's like
his rookie season.
It's extremely hard to judge at this point what he is, but it seems like what Justin said, like this might just be the player that he is, and I really hope that because like, look at the chances they gave Jake Virtanen. Yeah, my God, if you're gonna spend that much time on him, try and get Brock in the right mental state. Try get him a 30-goal season here next year, and even Petey, if they both can do that, my God, that's a step in the right direction.
Brock a lot too is Petey's start, but like, it sucked coming off last season too, and Brock was probably maybe our best player. Yeah, offensively, definitely. Yeah. So like, you want to see him build off that and right, like, just hit that next plateau, but he's kind of just well, I would say down, but
from what he was, but with that injury, it's just it's so.
But it's kind of in the past now, right? Like, I get it. Like, it probably
that's
when
a back
skate by the boards. Like, you probably still think of it for the rest of your career and stuff. But like, I just want him to be consistent. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, when Brock is on, he's lethal. Yeah. But he's off too much for me.
Yeah, and
I'm not saying give up on him. I'm just saying
his 5-on-5 play hasn't been as good as I would like, but his power play points are up. Like, his power play points are always pretty good, but it's just one of those things where it's like, do you get rid of him now and get back an asset, or do you wait too long and not get back much?
Well, even now too, right? Like, if you were gonna trade him, last year was probably the time. Like, because he was coming off a up season.
I think you can still sell the fact that
there's potential.
Exactly.
But, like, say you keep him for next year and he gets off to a rapid start, which probably changed their mind. Like, they probably keep him because he's young still. Yeah. But that's when you should sell him, because he's peak value, right? Like if we were gonna trade Miller, it should have been at the deadline because
100. Now we're locked in with Miller.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
We're gonna have to re-sign him the whole 9 yards because
maybe not, right? He's still got another year. We can still trade him.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going anywhere with Miller. I think he was our offensive driver this entire season. I think if you get rid of him, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot at this point. If they were gonna do it, they had to do it then. But that's the thing, though. During the trade deadline, we weren't going to get what we want for JT Miller. Yeah. So in the off season, we might be able to get what we want for JT Miller.
It's an interesting thing to keep watch on because who knows what they do. And if we are going to re-sign him, like I know he wouldn't go for it. He's going to get max term, max value he can. But like 4 years, like 8.5, something like that. I'm all right with that. I don't know if he is or not.
Look at what Petey's making. He had more value than Petey this season, and I know that Petey started off rough, and there's more upside to Petey because of his age. But it's like JT Miller, you can't deny the guy. Like he deserves a good contract, even if it's a 3-year or whatever.
Yeah. See, the biggest thing will be term, right?
Yeah.
Because when he signs that contract, he's gonna be 30.
Yeah.
You don't want to give a 30-year-old a 6-year, $9 million contract.
No, I think even 8 at 3 years. That's a beaut for us, but for JT Miller, he's no.
And he knows it's probably his last big contract.
Yeah.
So
it definitely is. This is his last big contract, and then after that, it'll be some Mike Perry numbers probably.
Or if he's bouncing around looking for a cup. Corey Perry?
Corey Perry. Mike Perry's a UFC fighter. That's why it was in my head. Corey Perry, sorry.
So now, while we're on the topic here, what do you think, what does the club do with Garland? Because there's been a lot of talk about shipping him out too, just because he's not a Rutherford guy, allegedly, quote unquote.
Honestly, from what I've seen from his game so far, I hate to say this because I always like to say that size isn't the biggest thing in the NHL and this and that, but you have seen quite a few turnovers out of Garland lately. Even in the corners, he's been trying to battle through it. I know he's not playing his best hockey. He does always throw pucks on net and stuff like that, but if we can get back a bigger asset for him, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. I would like to give him another year, right?
Yeah,
let him
me too.
Because I do like his game, besides the fact that he's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, he drives offense. He's not a detriment to the team for the most part. 98% of the time, he's doing good stuff.
Yeah, and it's just
he's just been snake bitten.
Yeah, and I feel like his size is his strength most of the time, but it can be his weakness. You see him a lot of times, he's ripping around guys and making cuts over guys, and guys are kind of hesitant to move in on him. It's the same thing with Quinn. They're hesitant to move in on him because they're afraid that they're going to look stupid because he's going to swerve around you. And you seen Quinn the other day, he came out near the corner, walked right out in front of the net. No one even touched him. He made a shot on net. And it's because guys are hesitant to move on a skater like that. And Garland kind of has that effect. And I would like to see him go for another year because he hasn't really settled in with the team. But that's another guy. He's on a money contract.
Yeah.
And if we can get back an asset, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and that is kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because if you are shipping out Garland, that is a good deal.
Yep.
So you got to get the right pieces back,
whether
that's a pick or a prospect, whatever it is.
But
I want to give him another year. I feel like he has just because he was so good at the start of the year, right? He was our best player for the first 10 games. 15 games.
Yeah, I agree.
And he can do that. He did it with horrendous Arizona Coyotes teams, so
and that's the thing, he had more of an opportunity on those teams because they were so bad, so he did shine. But if say we trade a Brock Besser and we get an asset back, I don't know if you see him on the top 2 lines. Garland you might see him on the 3rd line, which he's not going to shine as bright there.
Definitely been all over the lineup.
He's been up and down, so we'll see. We'll probably end up keeping him because he is on a good contract. And I would like to see that.
Yeah. And I guess we always talk about Rutherford, but it's not really Rutherford's team, right? It's Alvan's team, so we'll see what he figures. But
100%.
They're kind of hand in hand, those two. So
yeah, and it's funny because people talk about the Brock Besser negotiations, this and that, for when he wants a new contract. Right now, he has no room to ask for a big contract.
The qualifying offer too, the 7.5, I don't know if Brock's the kind of guy that would take it just because he can. Like, I think he would take what he deserves. He seems
I
like
think
a pretty stand-up dude.
That's what I
don't
think.
know.
I think Brock, he knows, like, you know what, my game's not in the right place right now. I'm not going to break this team. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get what I deserve right now, and then if my game improves, I'm due for a raise.
Yeah, like sign a 1-year prove-it deal, and then maybe you give him a 6-year deal after that or something. Because he will be 26 when he signs that contract. So I
agree.
And a guy like that, I have no issue signing him till he's 32 or whatever, or 34 even. So but yeah, like Brock needs to. That'll be an interesting thing to watch in the offseason. What term, dollars,
everything.
At this point, like, you almost just give him the same contract.
Yep, he's definitely not due for a raise right now.
Yeah,
tell you that much.
Okay, so that kind of is it for the topics and news that I wanted to go over this week. So we'll get into our score predictions here. Let me just pull up the app. So we have Las Vegas in the house tonight. 5 p.m. puck drop here, so right away. So we got to wrap this shit up.
Yeah.
Wes, what do you think on the score tonight?
We just took 2 L's in a row, so if we don't come out guns a-blazing tonight, it's trouble, and you're going to see some big changes in the offseason. We have to get the win tonight. It has to be 4-2 for the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, I kind of, like, we're not making the playoffs, but if we lose, that is, like, legitimately
nail in the coffin.
I think, like, obviously the team isn't going to come out and say, yeah, we're done. So I think they'll have a good effort. They're at home. It's Vegas.
Yeah. And we got guys like Dermott, like frickin' Pods. There's guys on this team that have stuff to prove, and they're going to come out playing. And, like, Bo, hopefully he plays tonight.
Bo is in.
Yeah, so he has a lot to prove, too. Like, he has to get his goals up there a little bit more for this season. I know he wants that, so... And like Petey, you never see his game waver, especially when he's on the mindset he's on right now. He's going to want to pot 3 goals tonight. Everyone knows it. So he's going to do his damn best to win this game.
5-3 Canucks.
Yep. And Quinn Hughes, too. He never wavers.
Yeah.
He's going to come out playing as hard as ever.
So Wednesday night, we're in Vegas.
Have to win.
3-2 Canucks.
Yeah, it's tough to beat a team twice in a row. I said this against the St. Louis Blues because I was hoping we were going to catch 2 dubs and we caught 2
funny,
fat
St.
L's.
Louis Blues made it look pretty easy.
They did, which is it's tough for us to do, I should say.
Yeah.
That's a former Stanley Cup champion team, so it is what it is. Second game, it's going to be a little bit closer. I'll go 3-2 Vancouver Canucks.
And then the next night, we're in Arizona, Thursday. Score prediction for that one?
Arizona Coyotes, Jay Beagle, you're fucking off with your head, buddy. It's going down. They're going to embarrass you guys. I'm saying 5-2 for the Vancouver Canucks.
7-3 Canucks.
Oh, I hope so, baby. Let's get it going.
And you wanted to talk about this, actually. The Jay Beagle, Troy Terry incident.
Yep.
I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Like, yeah, he's cross-checking Zegras because he knows that's Zegras.
Yep.
And then Troy Terry does try to stick up for him and gets worked over by Beagle, but it looks bad. Like, it
looks terrible because when Beagle drops his mitts and grabs Terry never raises his hands.
Yeah.
The entire time he's just getting pumped in the eye. And it's like, Beagle, what are you doing, man? You're a veteran in this game.
He very much lost his cool. You could see it.
100%. So. And I get it was heated at that point.
And Zegras scores the Michigan on you. It's just embarrasses you more. You play in Arizona, you're already embarrassed.
You heard the announcer saying, well, that's what you get if you want to show off when the game's already out of hand and this and that. That's what you get. No. That's complete bullshit. Jay Beagle, you pumped the guy twice. He still doesn't have his hands up. Let the guy go. You keep feeding him when he's not fighting back. That's a bum move, in my opinion.
And they busted Terry up. Like, if you go find his picture on Instagram, it's kind of gross.
And he's one of the best players in the league this year. Like, he's been phenomenal. And to beat a kid up like that when he's not fighting back, I thought
that's not his game either.
No, I thought that was a bum move, man. Hit him twice maybe, and then realize, okay, he's not fighting back.
Like Beagle's a good veteran player. Like, he's better than that. So it's just kind of an ugly incident all around.
And Beagle's been knocked out face first on the frickin' ice before. You'd think you'd have a little more compassion for a guy instead of just continue to pump him when he's not fighting back. I thought that was a bum move.
Yeah, it was a nasty incident. I understand what he's trying to do. It did cross a line, but if that's Ryan Getzlaff, does Jay Beagle do that?
No.
So maybe that's kind of where it is.
It was a young kid, and I think the coaching staff straight up told Beagle after he got slept, no more fighting for you there, buddy.
Yeah.
Because your NHL career will be over if you get knocked out a couple more times like that. But then he completely took advantage of the situation when he knew Troy wasn't fighting back. He just continued to feed him, and I didn't like that at all.
Yeah. Not a great look for the league. Not a good look for Beagle.
And not a good look for the Arizona Coyotes, which are already in quite the hole.
Yeah. But could build a pretty solid team with all the picks they have this year. I think they have 4 second-rounders this season.
With no barn.
Yeah.
Like, they are in a hole.
It's crazy how Bettman will not
relocate.
Let that franchise die.
They should relocate.
It feels like they're on life support right now.
They are
playing in a college arena.
I've never
get an arena. They almost got locked out of their arena.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah,
going to a college or never seen it.
It's a little bit sad. It's kind of pathetic.
And they're not going to sell out there. That's even more pathetic.
Yeah, and you look when Arizona is good. Hockey works there. Yeah. I'll totally agree, but. Man, they haven't been good for a long time.
I'm sure guys like Clayton Keller, guys like Jacob Chikrin, they want the hell out of there.
Yeah. So we'll go over our Canucks of the week. It's pretty easy for me because these games kind of sucked.
I agree.
I'm going Petey.
Yeah, I agree. He's been pretty lights out for the past 3 weeks. He's been scoring great goals. Yep. He's been looking like the old Petey that we came to love, the alien Elias Pettersson. And I'm pumped that he's on the right track. And now I think he has the building blocks to come into next season hot.
After this year, hopefully we get through the rest of the season with no injuries.
Yeah.
Hopefully he builds on this and just keeps rolling.
Yeah.
I do have a tweet of the week here for you. This is by Adam Graham, at Adam_Graham. Number of times Bennington has faced the Canucks since the bubble, 0. Stop shielding him at St. Louis Blues. Make him face his fears.
And that's totally accurate.
Yeah, I wanted Bennington in at least one of these games. Just I hate to bury the guy. He won a cup, went on a legendary heater, but I don't think he's that goalie.
He's not, and that's kind of the thing, right? He capitalized on his opportunity, and I think he fizzled out pretty quickly.
Got his contract. Was decent the year after and stuff, but he's been Husso's their starter.
Yeah, and he was lights out against us.
He was good.
He was freaking good.
I'm getting the John Gibson vibes from him. Andre Fleury vibes.
Totally.
Where I'm going to hate the next...
He shuts it down.
Yeah, the next 10 years of playing this guy.
Yeah, and Bennington, Besser's got you in his back pocket. Horvat's got you in his back pocket.
Petey.
Come on. Yeah. There's no way he's facing the Canucks anytime soon, and I see why.
Yeah. So, that'll do it for this week's episode. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to the channel. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere there's podcasts.
Another one in the bag.